Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and we're in Lisbon, Portugal. And today we have for you are what you should eat when you're here in Portugal. And Pastéis de Belém, here in the Belém district of Lisbon, is definitely one of those things. Let's talk about some of the basics of eating in Portugal. As a tourist, what you should know, lunch times, basically like 12 o'clock, the restaurant starts serving. Portuguese tend to go to lunch from 12:30 to about 1:30 they start, and it goes till about 3. Then a lot of the restaurants will actually close their doors. Well, now they won't close their doors. They'll close the kitchen part from 3 till about 7, and then they open up again at 7. So for warm meals, hot meals, and stuff like that. Now, I'm going to start by talking about what you have in that little like siesta kind of time there, that middle time from 3 to 7. And usually what you have here in Portugal are salgados. They're little savory treats. Maybe you have a croquette. There's a croquette that has meat in it, or you might have a samosa. It's like an Indian triangle with chicken inside, a little bit of spice. Or you have, the Portuguese make really good, it sounds silly, but tostamistas, toasted ham and cheese sandwiches. They're fantastic. And Portugal has a lot of these little snacky things. If you want to go have some beer, you know, which you will when you're here, it's cheap and it's good. You're going to have tremosos or lupin beans. You bite the end off, shoot it in your mouth, eat it, and drink it with your beer. It's fantastic, okay? So there's a lot of little snacky things you can do during the day, and they have a lot of sweet ones like this, you know, pastéis de Belém. It's a custard pastry, which they make here in the Belém district. You'll see it other parts of Portugal called pastel de nata. It's just a cream pastry, all right? And there's lots of little sweet pastries like this in Portugal, made from basically egg, milk, and sugar. And basically anywhere you go, Aveiro has their own kind, Sintra has their own kind, you go down to the Algarve, they all have variations on the egg, sugar, milk, you know, dessert. You're gonna have those that they make for a great little snack. Another little snack you'll have here in Portugal is coffee. They love their coffee here. So make sure you get some. It comes in a little bica, a little tiny cup. It's fantastic. It's like espresso, so just be ready for it, okay? Now, what about some of the real foods you want to have when you're here? Because you know what? I want to get here. Mark, I've seen your videos. You were skinny when you got to Portugal, and you were fat when you left. What happened? The food happened. And obviously, the biggest thing you want to eat here in Portugal is the seafood. It is fantastic. They have lots of shellfish, you know, crab or shrimp and these kind of things. You have those, but a lot of times you'll have those and mixed in other dishes. One of the biggest ones I like is called arroz de marisco, or seafood rice. In it, it's kind of like a rice stew with all kinds of different stuff in there. Shrimp and fish and shellfish and all kinds of stuff, and it is fantastic. Another one that's kind of related into that little shrimpy fun stuff is a sorda, or most my Portuguese friends call it a bomba calórica, a calorie bomb. Imagine it's like stuffing you have at Thanksgiving mixed with some wine and a little bit of, you know, well, then throw in some shrimp, and then at the end, crack open a raw egg and kind of stir it up into it. Now, some of the fish things you should have here is, if you want more traditional fish, the fish of Portugal is bacalhau, or codfish. And there's a saying, a Portuguese wife can cook bacalhau, cod, 365 days a year and 365 different ways, and their husband will be happy every single time. Tells you a lot about this place, and also how much they love their bacalhau, their codfish. The two ones that I recommend, bacalhau à brás is one, but my personal favorite is bacalhau com natas, which is torn up, basically shredded bacalhau and potatoes in a cream sauce, and then they bake it in the oven. Literally, anytime I've had dinners with Portuguese people outside of Portugal, this is what they make, okay? Now, if you don't like cod, the other two fish I recommend you try, robalo and dorada, sea bream, sea bass. These kind of fishes, they're fantastic. It's grilled with a little bit of salt on top. It's really good. Also, traditional dish, if you're going down to Setúbal, they have what's called chocos, or cuttlefish, okay? It kind of tastes like octopus, a little bit like calamari. Grilled or fried is fantastic. And if you like octopus, they have like an octopus salad you can have here as a starter. So what tasty Portuguese treat is this? Fantastic food here.
This is caracóis, and it looks just like the tiny little snails that used to be in my garden here in Lisbon. And they're lovely.
Yummy. So if you're here in the summer, definitely want to have some caracóis.
The proper way to eat caracóis, there's two options. You can either and suck it out. Or you can be more ladylike and pull it out with a toothpick. And so you'll get like a little pile of toothpicks. And you just pull it right out. Right for the toothpick. So there's your lesson in catacoish.
And it's really good.
Yeah.
So step 3 with catacoish is a mini. I don't know why they have little tiny bottles, but you always have a little tiny bottle of beer with your snails. So that's part 3, but not for the kids.
Now, all this seafood is fantastic and I love, but actually, they do make really good pork here. And my favorite kind of pork here is porco preto, or black pork, sometimes called Iberian pork. They feed it a diet exclusively of acorns, so it has a very distinct flavor, and it is fantastic. Now, your side dishes you'll have here in Portugal, just know, fries and rice. Fries and rice with some more fries. Believe me, you're gonna have a lot of fries and rice when you're here in Portugal. Just get used to it.
So here we have the rice made with blood and some more sausage and stuff, and we're going to serve up Nuno here. So have a nice time.
If you want like a salad, it may say, oh, there's a salad that comes with it. Maybe it's probably a couple of leaves of lettuce, a couple sliced tomato, and a little ring of onions. So if you want vegetables, in Portugal, the Portuguese get their vegetables from their soup. And the biggest soup you should have is caldo verde. It's like kale soup. They grind up potatoes and stuff like that, and they put kale in it. That's their end-all be-all. It's so popular here, they actually sell it at McDonald's, okay? That's how important caldo verde is to Portuguese, okay? And then I'm here in the summertime, and it's Santos. It's time for the festivals, and this is sardine season. And in Portugal, the sardines aren't those little things like that. They're big sardines. They're like real fish that you get to gut yourself at the table. Caleb loves eating the eyeballs of them, but it is one of those things you have to eat when you're here. You gotta get the sardines, okay? If you're gonna go head up north and you want a different kind of thing, if you go to Porto, they're famous for francesinha, the little French girl. This is a special dish. It's got bread, sausage, ham, bread, cheese, and then there's this amazing sauce they pour over top of it. It looks like some kind of crazy sandwich you made in college and then dumped a gravy on top of it. It is awesome. And they do sell it all over Portugal now, but if you're gonna have it for real, you gotta go to Porto and have a francesinha. Some other things you might wanna do when you're here is if you want a little snack, you're going on the street, you're gonna see like a little steak sandwich. It's called a bifana, just a little steak sandwich you can get, or rego no pau, which is like beef and bread. They have those. Those are pretty nice. That's kind of like something you'd buy outside of a bullfight or a soccer match or a football match for a little snack when you're going around. Things like that. That's the bifana. See, it's just bread, meat, and cheese. So remember, bifana is pork, but prego, that's beef. So don't get confused. Now, what are you going to drink here? Now, obviously, this is Portugal. You're going to drink wine. And the thing is, all the wine here is affordable and all the wine is really good. That's why Portuguese wine always ranked very highly in the world rankings. And the one wine I really recommend you drink here is Portuguese green wine, or vinho verde. It's a young white wine, so it has a little bit of bubble. Think like 25% champagne, 25% white wine, and you drink it really, really cold, and it's fantastic. But you can drink any of the whites, any of the reds, it's gonna be very good. Now, a lot of people will say, well, I'm in Portugal, I should drink port wine. Well, the Portuguese don't drink a lot of port wine every day. It's more of an after dinner kind of thing. So you can get it, but don't expect to see people walking around going, ooh, I want to have some more port wine. They may walk around and say, I want some more Pastéis de Belém though. These are so good. But I only have my cinnamon sugar on it. For those of you who don't like wine, you want beers. Beer here, you got two national brands, Superbock and Sagres. I prefer Superbock personally, but they're both good. They have different kind of flavors of beer, but you have their traditional Superbock and Sagres. They'll be on top anywhere, and they usually come, in a small version of it, so like a 0.2 liters kind of thing, like not quite a full beer can, full, in a glass, and they're fantastic. In the summertime, you'll see a lot of people drinking bottles of beer like really tiny ones, they're called minis because it gets really warm here and you don't want your beer to get hot. So you get a mini so you can knock it down, go get a new cold one. I hope that helps you get a little taste of Portugal, or you wet your whistle when you're here. If you want to learn more about visiting Portugal, 10 things that'll shock you about being here, 5 things you'll love and hate about Lisbon, or you want to learn a little Portuguese, we have it all on our website at woltersworld.com. Also, we have all kinds of great stuff on our YouTube channel. So if you like videos like this, please click that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Anyway, I'll say adeus from Lisbon. And if you have more things that we should eat in different parts of Portugal, please put in the comment section below, because you know what? I'm still gonna go there and eat it. Bye. Adeus.